International adoption is not new in America. Children born in parts of Asia, Central and Southern America, and Africa have come to the United States for decades. The Chinese adoption experience, however, is unique because almost all of the adoptees are female with no knowledge of their birth parents. They grow up with explanations of the one-child policy and a description of their abandonment site. Their numbers also reflect a chronological generation, a community of 75,000 females who arrived in the United States over an approximate 20-year period. They represent a cultural sorority, one whose exclusivity was determined by the nation that relinquished her tiniest citizens to America. Each girl, however, is living an individual life with her own thoughts and her own feelings on her adoption. What has influenced her opinions? What has she been told about her birth, and how does that affect her sense of self? What does she know of Chinese history and culture? Does she simply identify as American or as American Chinese? And I am very proud and grateful tonight to introduce you to two young women who have made that journey from China to the United States. Anhalt is 16. She's entering her junior year at Wauwatosa East High School in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. You have no idea how many times I practiced that. Okay. And the second young lady, Madeline Geitz, some of you might know, also 16-year-old, also entering her junior year at Oberlin High School. So much has been written about Chinese daughters, and I am so proud and so delighted that at last they can speak for themselves. And I hope many, many, many other voices will join them.
Well, Anna lives in Wisconsin and I live in Ohio. In some ways we feel closer than any other group of girls could. We, along with another girl named Alicia, wrote a self-interview providing answers to questions that we have asked and other people have asked us about our adoption. Our editor, Heather, also gave us a few more questions regarding naturalization and citizenship. You'll see that we agree on some points, but also have a variety of opinions on others. It's evident, however, that we share deep pride in being the unique Chinese daughters we are. So, without further ado, Anna, how has being adopted affected your life?
Okay. I think I can talk loud enough. My mom tells me that all the time, so. Okay. Oh goodness, where to start? Quite honestly, being adopted has affected my life, of course. But from the everyday-to-day life of mine, I rarely am reminded of it or ever think about it. I mean, when I do think about it, yeah, of course. If I wasn't adopted, the language I would speak would be different. My culture would be different. Who I hang out with, my life experiences, and my opportunities, all different. I'm a person who does believe that everything happens for a reason. I don't think my adoption was an accident. I don't think where I am today was an accident, and I know that wherever I end up will always, oh my goodness, sorry, that wherever life happens to take me in the future won't be by accident either. Being adopted doesn't define me. It's just a part of my life that has helped me bring me to where I am today.
It's weird for me to think of myself as adopted or factor my adoption into who I am as a person. Adopted isn't some sort of state I think of myself to be in. I was adopted at 8 months old, and in my lifetime I rank that about as notable an event as my 5th haircut or my 17th pair of jeans. And now, this isn't to say I'm ungrateful in the slightest about being adopted by such a lovely family. My luck in receiving such a perfect life was 1 in a million, but my adoption isn't what makes me Madeline or the only thing that makes me who I am. I'm the combined result of everything in my life, every birthday, every celebrity crush I've had, every song I sang in the shower, every font I used in the school report, every math equation I ever solved, not just the event of my adoption. So, being left, how does that make you feel?
I wouldn't say I was left. I'm a very positive person, and I'd like to think that whatever the reason my mother had to give me up, it was for a very good one. Was it because I wasn't a boy? Was I one child too many? Was my mother too poor to take care of me and wanted me to have an opportunity for a better life? I wouldn't know. What I do know is that I have what is called a Chinese tattoo. It's not a real tattoo, like what we think of with the ink and whatever. It's merely 5 needle pokes in my left arm. Supposedly my birth mother gave it to me. Each needle mark represents her love for me. That will stay with me forever. That's what my mother, who adopted me, told me. I've never learned much more about it. I rarely think about it. It's visible. It's like a scar. But friends at school, when they first notice it, always are so curious about it. I've never met anyone else who has it, so it makes it special.
My mother, during our return trip to China, was incredibly adamant about using the phrase discovery place rather than abandonment place when referring to the spot in Hefei where my birth mother left me. I didn't really care at the time, and to be honest, I still don't really care now. It was where I was left, and I mean, that's how I ended up here, so I'm not going to reflect on what could have been. It's your turn to ask, though.
Okay. What does it mean to be an all-American girl?
All right. Literally, I would assume the term all-American would just include those people who are descendants from Native Americans. I'm an American citizen, yes, but I feel like I'm so much more than that. I'm an older sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a niece, I'm a grandchild, I'm a student, I'm a team player, I'm a teenager with way too much on her mind. I'm an aspiring computational biologist or history professor, or I'll figure that out. But anyway, I'm Langan+Madeline Geitz. I was born in Hefei, China on November 19, 1994 and adopted by Kerry Langan and Robert Geitz on July 25, 1995. I'm the older sister of Anhalt+Langan Geitz. I am anything I could ever want to be, and a million different futures lie ahead, except president.
I don't know what it means to be an all-American girl. To be honest, America has become, and is still in the process of being so diversified and so many different cultures that I don't think there is really a certain look or personality that makes a girl all-American. I know who I am, and that's really all that matters. It's so funny, if you were to ask my mom what I spend the most time doing nowadays, she'd say, "Oh goodness, you'll find my daughter looking at herself in the mirror or taking pictures of herself." I tell myself I can't help that my self-esteem sits on the top of Mount Everest. I can't really speak for others. I mean, we're all individuals. Some may feel the need to influence attitudes towards China, while others like me don't really feel the need to do so. Every person and every girl has their own opinion on how to view her surroundings, ideas, and thoughts. This includes views on naturalized citizenship and countries. I love the fact that I can say I was born in another country, adopted by a loving family, and live a wonderful life with no regrets. I also love talking with other girls just like me, girls who were born in one country and adopted into another, any chance I get. But quite honestly, I'm just like everybody else. There's no special treatment or sticker on my forehead that says I'm different because of my situation. I'm just another person on the outside looking in when it comes to half of these global situations.
I don't think adopted Chinese daughters can influence attitudes towards China or naturalized citizenship by themselves. Our attitudes towards China are generated by what we can personally associate with. With the American economy as a whole, several Americans look jealously towards China for their cheap labor, high population of workers, and growing economy, while they are unemployed. I'm not sure how many citizens can relate to the idea of being adopted from a country because their gender is quote-unquote less desirable. While it's great to be part of a world community of ambassadors, we can't and we shouldn't represent China because we haven't lived our lives there. I'm no more of an expert on China than I am on Belgium or Gambia. Perhaps in the future, adopted Chinese girls will have global conferences and will discuss what it means to look like a person of one country and identify with the people of another. That's it.